interesting year for the WWE. Financially, it's been the best year of the company. Vince McMahon's company is generating record high profits, and that is great news for anybody that works for WWE, especially their executives and stakeholders. You cannot say the same thing about the product from a fan's perspective. In fact, it has been absolutely a disaster. WWE has made so many mistakes in 2021, it's actually wild. It's been a tough year to be a fan of the company, and in today's video, we're going to take a look at the 10 worst mistakes that the WWE made this year. Number 10, firing Buddy Murphy. Releasing Buddy Murphy is on the top.
No, bro. Let me explain something about firing wrestlers. Let me explain something. The problem with firing certain wrestlers is because when they didn't even get to their full potential, when you limit their potential and they did everything that they could do in the small role that you gave them, and then they grew past that. You want me to be honest about Buddy Murphy? Could have been United States champion, Intercontinental champion. Could have been a long-lasting champion, like that kind of stuff. You get what I'm saying? Could be right now, not for the WWE Universal, but at least for the mid-card portions of the titles and making that jump all around the place. It could, if you wanted to test the waters, put him on a pre-show maybe. And then after that, once you see he has some stuff really going for it, put my man in the main event. Put my man in the co-main event. Put him somewhere. Yeah, I mess up too much. Even I could do better on the darn video game than this, bro.
Top of this list because it was honestly unnecessary in my opinion. It was definitely a mistake because Murphy was an exceptional talent. Buddy had the wrestling ability, the promo skills, and even the look of a professional wrestler that you wanted in a guy. He could have been easily a top mid-carder and even possibly a big star in the main event picture for the WWE. And I honestly can't find any details on his salary, but I'm sure he was not making so much money that they had to let him go because he was never a top guy. Buddy Murphy had a ton of potential, and WWE releasing him was a mistake, and he's going to thrive in whatever company he decides to sign with. I have a feeling that he will be a great asset, and the WWE should have definitely kept him. Number 9, breaking up the...
Wait, the heart click? What?
The Hurt Business.
Hurt
At the beginning
Business,
of the year, WWE...
Yes, bro, this was so good. You could have kept this for so much longer. This could have been the thing. Now what you gonna do with the other two wrestlers? What you gonna do with the other two? You have nothing to do with them now. There's nothing for them to do solo. Get down, Oreo. No. There's nothing else for them to do. You see what I mean? These two could, oh my goodness, bro. You could have left it where it was. In that case, then let's take Roman Reigns ones out. Take F Jimmy and Jey Uso. F that. No, we don't need it. We got Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman. Oh, you don't want to do that? Then why would you do it to this? They would have been. Oh my goodness. This talk, bro. I can't do this.
He made the horrible mistake of splitting up the Hurt Business. After becoming the WWE champion, the creative team decided to end the faction and allow Bobby Lashley to become a single star with MVP as his manager, and that was it. And so, Bobby Lashley beat up his two former friends, and the Hurt Business was no more. Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander went back to catering, and Bobby Lashley has been the champion ever since. I still don't understand the purpose of this breakup. I honestly think that WWE should have kept the group together for a much longer time period. They had chemistry and were very entertaining during their time on Raw. It just does not make sense. It was obviously, clearly, a massive mistake. Number 8, The Fiend's WrestleMania loss. At WrestleMania,
The Fiend's WrestleMania loss was stupid. There's a lot of law. He should have been undefeated still, in my personal opinion. They should have added like a different stipulation to the match where the Fiend could lose but not. Like for a lot of different matches, when he went against Goldberg, he shouldn't have lost that match. He should have lost via like a stipulation, like he can win the title any count, like even if he was disqualified or something like that. You know, things like that. That's what I mean. But this was stupid because he could have beat Randy Orton because Randy Orton didn't need this win. He didn't. His character didn't need it. He didn't need it to improve because look what he's doing now. It doesn't even. He's not even facing him one more time. So. And then they just made Alexa Bliss just as what's her name instead of the goddess that she tried to be. Ugh, it's so stupid and it's just unsatisfying.
Versus Randy Orton definitely under-delivered. The match lasted about 5 minutes and wasn't anything too special. It ended when Alexa Bliss distracted the Fiend, and that is when Randy Orton capitalized on the moments. The Viper landed an RKO and won the match. Having Bray Wyatt lose in this match was a terrible mistake. It should have never happened in the first place. This was meant to be the moment where the Fiend got his revenge for getting burnt alive by Randy Orton, and it was the wrong call and should have never happened. The Fiend should have won the match, and then he should have went on to dominate all of his other opponents after Randy Orton, but sadly that did not happen. Number 7, Alexa Bliss stealing the Fiend's gimmick. What was an even worse...
Yes, bro. They should have left her where she was. If they would have left her where she was, we wouldn't be here, bro. Please, bro, please fix it.
Mistake after that horrendous Fiend versus Randy Orton match was what happened to Alexa Bliss. She ultimately took the Fiend's gimmick from Bray Wyatt's, and to be quite honest with you, I don't like it a bit. I will never like it because it's a lot cornier with Alexa Bliss. Lily Scary and Shayna Baszler was the last straw for me. It's never going to connect with me at all. It's just never. I understand that she's one of the highest merchandise sellers right now because of the gimmick, but that just does not sit right with me. WWE really took Bray Wyatt's original creation and idea and just handed it over to Alexa Bliss to make some money out of it. That is just wrong. She's not even doing justice for the character. This entire situation is a mess and a mistake. Number 6, Karrion Kross. 8 months ago, I made a video explaining how I thought Karrion Kross was going to be the WWE's next big superstar. At the time, his NXT run was very impressive. He was the NXT champion, and he had the perfect manager. He had one of the best entrances that we've ever seen, and he had the look for the main roster. But most important out of all, his in-ring work was superb. It was different from most people. Karrion Kross is all about being as physical as he can be to make sure...
I'm sorry. I don't think Samoa Joe should have won. I think Samoa Joe should have lost to him, personally. Why? Because I think having him... Has he lost the match? He lost to Jeff Hardy. That match was okay only because of one minor thing. It was an experience reason that he lost. It wasn't because of like he was out brutalized or something like that. Jeff Hardy just outsmarted him. That was fine. That's fine. But Samoa Joe, no. And what was he wearing when he wore that little cross thing on him? He looked like, oh my god, they about to mess this character up bad.
That he inflicts pain on his opponents, and it looks real. I thought that WWE could not mess this up. Like, how could you? But I was wrong. They messed up pretty badly. Karrion Kross lost to a washed-up Jeff Hardy in his debut match on Raw, and he's also been wearing a ridiculous outfit during his entrance, and he even lost his wife by his side, and the entrance is whack. They honestly kind of ruined him. It's just another mistake in the office for the WWE. Number 5, firing Aleister Black. Aleister Black was off of WWE.
Firing Black. I like the title, bro. Firing Black. Like, but no, that was a mistake. They debut my man or return my man, and then boop, he's gone. And then they act like it never happened.
TV for several months before finally making his return to attack Big E. That angle was supposed to set up a feud between the two on SmackDown. A week later, and he was surprisingly released by WWE.
These all of them
I will
are
never
bad, really.
understand
Well, I
why
mean,
this
not
happened.
Lana
This
that much,
decision
but
makes
still
no
stupid.
sense. Firing Aleister Black was just stupid. It was a mistake that had a ton of people, even within the company, confused. Aleister Black is now a part of AEW, and he's one of their biggest stars. He will forever be a huge missed opportunity for Vince McMahon, because Aleister Black had the potential to become the WWE champion one day in his career,
Yes,
and
he
it's a
did.
shame that he never amounted to anything with the company. Number 4, firing Braun
Oh
Strowman.
my gosh, that
An
was
even more
no,
surprising release.
No, firing him was the dumbest because you could have had a main event that could have substituted a lot of times. He is perfect for substitution reasons. If you didn't want to give him a legitimate chance, bro, he could have been there for substitution reasons. He could have been there. Oh, Edge is hurt. We need someone to take on Roman. Give it to Braun. Oh, such and such and such. We need someone to take on Bobby Lashley. Give it to Braun. Oh, such and such and such. We need someone to take on Drew McIntyre. Give it to Braun. You see what I mean? Braun was universal, bro. Could have been used for a lot. Still, I'm done, bro.
Was Braun Strowman. This shocked so many people. I was personally in utter disbelief when I saw this. WWE unexpectedly fired one of their bigger stars that was literally in a WWE title match just a few weeks before his release. And he was also in a very big program with Shane McMahon for WrestleMania. Letting him go was a bad decision. WWE does not have too many stars today, and he was huge for the general public, and that's why I thought it was a dumb mistake. Even though the IWC might not love Braun Strowman, he was good for the company. I understand his contract was a little pricey, but he was honestly worth it. Number 3, Bianca Belair at SummerSlam. Becky...
I'm gonna say this, and I like Becky Lynch like anybody else, but I think Becky Lynch coming back as a heel is fine. But I think the problem with her being the heel is only one minor thing. She won the title. She shouldn't have won the title. She should have came back like anybody else, like the night after SummerSlam, and just been like, I'm here to fight you, bro. Sasha Banks is injured. Fine, I'm here to fight you, bro. I'm gonna hurt you. I'm gonna do it. Fine, you could have just did something. Oh my gosh, bro. WWE small mistakes that they're making. It's not small, it's so big, but it's like, how did we get to that point? I get Sasha Banks injured, Sasha Banks hurt, but Sasha Banks replaced with Becky Lynch and then wins the title just because she... I'm done.
Lynch would make her return at SummerSlam after it was announced that Sasha Banks could not compete against Bianca Belair. That's when Becky Lynch proceeded to come back, beat up Carmella, and win the SmackDown Women's title in only 20 seconds. And this pissed off many wrestling fans across the internet. People claim that this ruined all the momentum that the WWE has been building up for Bianca Belair since WrestleMania 37. I totally understand their frustration with this decision. However, I still want to wait and see how the story unfolds.
I would prefer them to make it different. If the match was at least a full match, it'd have been at least a little nicer. If at least it could have been Becky Lynch would have watched the match versus Carmella, and then that would have been fine to me if WWE would have positioned it as Becky Lynch came back the night of SummerSlam just to watch, and she would have popped up a chair. What I would have done is I would have made her come back, pop up a chair, watch the match, and then when the match ends, she goes in there and she claps. And then she just tells her, I'm coming for you, champ, and then she leaves. Like, something like that. But, and her being a heel is fine, I guess, but you could have did it better.
But since so many people hate it and believe it was a huge mistake already, I decided to add it onto the list. Number 2, firing Bray Wyatt.
We've already talked about it, so it's nothing else to say.
The most surprising release in 2021 was Bray Wyatt's. When I saw a tweet that said he was released, I literally thought it was a joke, but it wasn't. The WWE actually fired one of their most talented superstars on the main roster. Like, I will just never understand why this happened. It's easily one of the biggest mistakes in 2021. It was downright stupid. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes at WWE, but what I do know is that this was incredibly dumb, and Vince McMahon should be ashamed that he lost this creative mind. And number one, Nick Khan and John Laurinaitis. I think it's important to see what the root of the problem is. All the things that I mentioned earlier happened directly because of Nick Khan and John Laurinaitis. Hiring Nick Khan as the president of WWE was a terrible mistake, and bringing back Johnny Ace was equally horrible. These two men have come into the WWE and single-handedly destroyed it within
I
a
didn't even
year.
know who these
Anyways,
people
that
were.
is it for the video,
Well,
guys.
one
Thank
of
you
them.
so much for watching.
I didn't know about one of them. I know about John Laurinaitis. Who didn't know about him? But the other guy didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't know this was a thing. Y'all the reasons why? Great. Now I have something to cry about tonight. I'm gonna go home and I don't know. I'm finna go play some Dragon Ball Legends, I guess.